What's up, guys? Welcome to the Ivy League live stream. I'm Justin. I'll be your host, right? I've been trading for about 6, 7 years, possibly 8. Doesn't matter. Don't matter how long you trade. As long as you have some time in the markets, you have time on your side. I hope you guys had a great day. We're going to cover what do we think the markets are going to do tomorrow. We have PPI tomorrow. We have some extra data that's also going to come out, right? We had CPI today, jobless claims today, right? Initial jobless claims. Tomorrow, like I said, you do have some Fed speakers. Oh, no, we had Fed speakers today. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. Let's try and get the stream ready. We're going to cover the trades of the day. We were short Tesla, right? We shorted Tesla. So if you were on the stream last night, I thought today we would get, some upside movement. Well, we did, followed by a still dramatic downside movement, which we still finished green on the day. The S&Ps, at least, finished green on the day. So we're going to run through some charts. If you guys have any questions, right? If you have any tickers, if you could, throw them in the chat. Let me put that in here. Let's go over some charts. So again, if you don't know, I am Justin. All right, I've been trading for quite some time now. Been in quite a few market cycles. We've been so spot on with these markets. Like, I've been thankful, but again, it comes with time. It comes with time. So if you could do us a favor right now, let's get it over with. Go ahead, please like and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. We do this every day. We trade live Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. We'll cover earnings, we go over trades, we go over news, come up with our game plan in the morning. Now, when I go through my trades and stuff, I go through my ideas before the bell even opens. Usually even the night before, right? Last night was a little hard. I want to apologize for the stream that we had last night. That's not usually what I do. Let me go ahead and I'm going to do something real quick. I have some charts I want to show you guys as well. But let me back up again. I do apologize for the stream last night. I have some charts I want to show you guys as well. Too much. There was just a lot going on. Again. I do apologize. It is what it is. That is life, So, yes. I have some really cool charts that I want to go over with you guys tonight. With consumers, a little bit of, let's see here. We have returns also. Okay. As far as the S&Ps, I want to get into the environment, right? We have the environment and then we have the seasonality. Okay. That's also one thing I do want to get into because it's important. So if you don't remember, right? I told you guys this is why it's hard to just sit there and think that this is an environment to swing. You most certainly can. I'm not saying you can't. Depending on your time frame, right? I like to trade during the day. I had no sleep last night, right? I got no sleep last night. So, I just have I have a cat, which you don't know. I am the best cat dad in the world, as you see here, and I am her favorite paw. So, let's get that out of the way. All right, let's get that out of the way. So again, I was still able to have a winning trade. I had a couple winning trades. I had 2. I took 3 trades today. 1 accidentally, which was an actual reload on the short on NVIDIA, but I ended up taking that for just the cost of commissions. I did buy calls at the end of the day, which I would never. This is not something I would alert or tell anyone to do. It was just a small bounce back play, right? As you see here, we can go into the SPY. We didn't close green, or we didn't close red, right? We did not close red. It's not like we closed green either. Some very nice movement. So if you guys have been here for a while, you guys know. So this was, oh, actually I was short. I went short on the SPY right here. Literally right there. This circle is probably wrong. It was more so up here, right? Once we got that rejection, and then I ended up taking profits on these back down here. This was, you know, I was wanting to see if we were going to close red. This is why I took this trade, because I was curious to know if we were going to close red or not. And we did not. We did not close red. We closed flat. We closed green, but we closed flat. All right, so we're going to go over the markets, things of that nature. And no, these were not, I didn't use dailies for these either. So again, I mean, 447 to 445, you know, $1.50. I can make something happen with that, right? You're going to find yourself in a market later on down the road where $1.50 to $2 is what you're going to get, right? So you need to know how to trade it, right? And with this type of speed, getting there in just, you know, 15 minutes, I can make a little bit happen with that, all right? Again, a lot of this stuff comes with time. So if you have any questions, please reach out, throw it in the chat. If you have a stock you want to go over, if you have anything you want to talk about, throw it in the chat. We're going to get the discussion started. Thank you so much again for joining us. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button and please subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. It's a goal of mine. I have a couple people that I'd like to bring on the stream as well. All right, so let's get into it. First things first, we have CPI tomorrow, or PPI. Right? PPI. My thoughts on CPI today were that they come in right around in line. If they came in just a tad over or a tad under, I would not have been surprised. So I also said, because you got to think the estimates were also raised in accordance with, you know, what's going on with energy prices and everything else. So we can dive deep into, you know, the nitty gritty of it another time if you guys think that's important. It kind of is, but, you know, I want to see what PPI has to offer tomorrow. Now, PPI has already been it came in hot last month from what I remember, or it was the month prior. But importantly, I told you guys 2 CPI numbers ago and the last CPI that we were going to get a number that was going to come in. Now, with the expectations being raised, it helps the economist out by being right, adding that in, and you know, calling the numbers right. Because you also have to remember, if they start getting numbers wrong, that's when you get volatility. All right, think about back in 2022, the amount of volatility had. That was more so due to the fact of, so like, the unknown, right? They were not able to get the inflation numbers correct. Yes, we had a war. You had all that stuff going on. The market was more concerned with inflation and the fact that these numbers just kept coming in higher and higher and higher and higher, and the economists were not able to get the numbers right. So if you start seeing in really anything where there's a sector or something that they, or even in the future, 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, whatever, right? They don't get these numbers right and can't get a handle on them. You need to watch for volatility. You're going to get it. That's when volatility approaches, when the market doesn't know, you know, when the economists aren't getting the numbers right. And that was, again, I feel the majority of why we had all the volatility that we had. You did have interest rate hike cycle starting. So it was a combination of a lot of things, you know. But, you know, CPI days were just so awesome to trade. I was nailing CPI numbers. You have no idea. You guys have no idea. I didn't have the stream going back then. But anyway, tomorrow you have GDP numbers also coming out. Not for the United States, right? We have PPI. We also have Michigan consumer sentiment. I'd like to see that. I don't know how in the heck this consumer sentiment number is so high. Thank God it's not even coming down. That's hilarious. So we'll see what happens with that. Michigan inflation expectations, right? That's going to come in obviously right around in line with the numbers that came out today. But we'll see what tomorrow has to bring. We're going to go over a couple of charts. If you could do us a favor, other than liking and subscribing, Thank you so much for that. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. Throw us up some charts. Let's get into some charts, guys. First, let's touch on, I have not really seen Bitcoin, really. So I actually would like to check that out. Let's go into the yields real quick, right? Let's go into the 2-year yield. So if you notice, yields are somewhat climbing. Yields had somewhat of an update today. Nothing big, you know. We could turn ourselves right back around tomorrow, if not next week. Let's talk about... All right, so I told you guys already. I told you guys a couple things. I said, one, that downgrade was going to give you big moves up and big moves down. This is why I haven't been swinging. This is why I haven't been on the playground swinging trades. All right. If you notice, the 2-year pretty much got down to this, you know, this pivot low down here. Not down here, but, you know, got to this area right here, right? Now, if I go to the 10-year as well, right? And I want you guys, what I'm going to get into with this also is I want you guys to remember this. Like, I don't want you to. You do what you want. You remember what you want. And I forgot about it today. I forgot about it yesterday. I didn't have much sleep, right? I've had a great week. I've had a green week, right? I think I've had, like, my losers were break even paying commissions, right? And they were smaller positions. They were not like my actual trades. I've made, like, physically, like, wanting to get where I'm getting my money is I've had 2 trades that I targeted, right? And this is not me just taking the rejection on a SPY at the end of the day. Well, I've had 3 because I did take that rejection on, what was it, Tuesday night and into Wednesday. I got that big gap down, and then you had the gap and crap for the most part. It didn't crap, but you guys know what I'm getting at. So those 3 trades were really nice, and I had some little like 15-minute, 20-minute, you know, scalp, if you want to call it that, but it wasn't even a scalp. It was just, you know, just shorten that rejection, breaking into, you know, a new low, which I'll get into it, and just, you know, just compiling those profits, getting that P&L. All right, it doesn't matter how big. You don't have to worry about home runs. The home runs will come. Okay, the home runs will come. So look at the 10-year. The 10-year is back up towards, getting up towards those highs. So if I go back to the 2-year, you see this pivot low here, right? You see how it's all the way back up to the previous high? Where's the 2-year? The 10-year is up here. You're starting to see the uninversion in the yield curve. 4.85 versus 4.85 versus a 4.17. So you do still have a decent spread there, but it is closing. The spread is closing, guys. Okay, so pay attention to that. Right? Pay attention to that. Nobody has said anything about that. The fact that as soon as we got that downgrade is when you started seeing the yield curve inversion, because, you know, the way I take it is that credit downgrade is long-term debt. That's going to affect long-term credit, long-term yields. Okay? So if they're able to raise the long end by not physically raising it, you know, which is in a sense they physically raised it, they're going to, you know, ease the yield curve. Now, is this all a master plan? Because if it is, they're very smart. Hey, let's downgrade some long-term credit in the United States and then send the lower end of the yield curve up higher. Let's try and straighten this thing out. It's pretty smart, you know. Now, whether it's an inside job or not, I don't know. I don't care, right? That doesn't get us anywhere. Conspiracy theories don't get us anywhere. Here's the dollar, right? Here's the dollar. It feels like the dollar wants to hold on. I'm not sure yet. You're still in this range. That's all it is. You know, people were making a big deal about this $100 level, right? You broke the $100 level and came back up. But Brody, you're still in the range. That's all it is. You're in an ascending wedge that's starting to, it's just a really long ascending wedge. These are getting tighter. So I want to know if we come up, break out, and head higher. I doubt it. maybe we start staying here. Maybe it finds a home and we do end up getting back down to the 98 levels and it kind of just hang out there. I don't know. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see what has in store. We still have the next 6 months. Again, if you guys have not done so, if you could subscribe, hit the like button, throw some tickers in the chat. So let's go to Bitcoin because I didn't look at Bitcoin at all today. BTC USD, right? And I also want to look up a couple other things that I think you guys are going to find interesting. All right. So here's Bitcoin. Yes, we have a lot of lines on the chart, so I do apologize. This was the range that we broke out of. All right, that is the range we broke out of. I want to see if it looks like we did put in our rejection here. I don't know why that line's up there. It probably just got moved. I don't know why. It should be there, and it should be a number 1, even though it's an important level. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this rejects again. So what does this do, right? I would actually like to see Bitcoin back down here. You're putting in the range, right? You're putting in a range. Maybe it tops it again, comes back down to the bottom of the range, guys. Okay. BITO, Mara, right? Riot. You can play Bitcoin in the equity markets, okay? So if you're ever struggling to find a trade idea, just think of, you have the dollar. You can play UUP. Okay, you have Bitcoin. You have commodities. You have oil. You have gold. You have silver. You have stocks themselves. There's always something to make a buck. There's always somewhere to make a buck. You just have to get educated, right? You got to know what you're doing. You can start by asking questions. I'm working on right now some of those educational things to help you guys out that you could use. They're not end all be all, but it's a lot of stuff that I use. And it's actually a lot of work. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to get this stuff out. Because if you notice, a lot of these groups just rush through what it is that they want to get out. And then, they charge you a lot of money only to find out that you can sense that this thing that they put together was rushed. Instead of continuously just putting out everything, covering a broad section and things of that nature, right? That's how I feel. Again, I don't belong to any group. I never have, but I have seen through other people, been in there, so on and so forth. So what I want to say is that Bitcoin, I feel like Bitcoin's gonna, this is a risk asset. This is honestly the riskiest asset you could probably hold, right? So if it's one of the riskiest assets, we got to see, if it starts breaking down. This is a daily chart. You have the 50-day moving average above you now, right? You have failed to hold up above that 50-day. You can sense that it tried to hold. It was just chopping sideways, got bought up, rejected the 50-day, came back down, rejected it. So we'll see what happens now. You can see how the 50-day is anchoring itself down, right? There's a lot of supply ahead. There's a lot above you. You're not going to break through it the first time, right? A lot of this stuff takes time, and people, you don't need to pay an X amount of money to have just basic education of the markets, right? If you come up to a major level like this, right? Let me back it up a little bit for us, okay? Let's do this, right? You can sense, you see this, boom, boom, this mountaintops, but this is your base right here. Right, we're going to call 28,000 our base, right? Base case, 28,000 is the base. All right, you have tested it twice now. You hung up around it, which is good. But what you really want to do is, when you get to a moving average, like supply like this, right? You get up to it 9 times out of 10, if there is not like an event like COVID, interest rates are really low, Fed's pumping liquidity, you're not technically, chances are you're not going to break through it the first time. So you're going to come up and you're going to test. And as those pullbacks get bought over time, you're going to have more buyers turning into sellers. And you also have to remember, whoever else is stuck up here who's been sitting on dead money or down money, just waiting to get out of this thing, how long is it before these people that are stuck there, before like they've done sold what it is that they need to sell, and you don't have X amount waiting up there to get out? There's a lot of things in factor. There's a lot of psychology, but the main important thing I want to touch on is the fact that if you come into a major support, a major resistance, chances are, unless there's a news catalyst, unless there's a reason behind it, you're not going to break through it or break down or up the first try. It's going to take a little bit. It's going to take a little bit of work, right? You can just say it as in, getting the liquidity and getting whoever's stuck up there. How many is there before they all, where they start to linger out and this thing is still rising, and then maybe they decide to not sell. Now it's back up and they don't want to miss the top and they want to get green. There's all kinds of stuff. Again, the market and a stock chart is psychology and not necessarily emotion, but you could say emotion. It is psychological actions of people or computers plotted on a chart, right? Buyers and sellers. That you have a bell at the beginning of the day, in the morning, because it's a fight, right? Everyone's fighting for price, right? So it is a battle of who's going to take whose money, right? So that's Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin is just hanging out, not much going on. There's not much to send these markets. So let's touch on the SPY, because that's going to touch into what I was going to say with Bitcoin. So I expect, if you just joined us, we have a nice range here, right? We have a really nice range right here. See if we get that rejection up here, just under 29.5. See if we start to pull it back, and if we can just get the overall markets to the downside, maybe we start testing the downside of this range here. All right, you had a nice double top up there. I don't even know when that was, but it seems as though the range is staying in place as of now. We'll see what happens coming in the next week. All right, I can make this bigger in case you guys that are just joining us wanted to see it, but this is what I have right there. All right, there is a nice, see how it rejected that base up there? You can kind of sense this is the support, right? Look, it didn't break it the first couple times, right? It took a little while to say, hey, these buyers are noticing. After that run, they probably took profits, and then what? You get the bounce back, and then soon to follow, you broke it, with a little bit of time. So that's a micro, that's a zoom in picture on the overall bigger picture of, getting into an area of resistance or support. Usually, if there's no catalyst, it's going to take you a few tries before you break it. Same with moving averages and of the sorts. All right, 89%, right, for September. 525, 550, okay? So CPI, Fed is saying they go by PCE if you don't know. That's what they watch. They watch all the data. They look at all the data. Next week, we have Fed minutes. Excuse me. Next week, we have or FOMC minutes. Yes, FOMC minutes. So if you don't know, if PPI does not send us, if we do not get a surprise, right? And if PPI isn't the reason, if PPI isn't the reason, and if we get no world news or anything crazy, we're probably still going to be stuck in this range, okay, on the S&Ps. All right. Now I can bring up futures, whatever you guys like. This is a little messy, but again, if I take all these off, this was just this week with the levels, right? I play them. I will trade intraday, whether you want to call it scalps or just, it's not that I'm in and I'm out, in and out, in and out. No, I will take a breakdown and I'll be taking profits, right? I again today, I took the end of the day, I took the failed attempt back up here. I ended up getting short, literally probably, I just about probably top tick that candle. But I caught the downside to see if we would go red, right? Or get close to going red, because look at my stop. You know what I mean? We break up here. You break back through this level, then, trade's gone. That's a good risk to reward. I know where my stop is. My stop is up here, right? If we break through, now, yes, we have it up here, but this was just a small trade that, I put on. It was a green position. So my stop, because you always have to have those three things. Why are you in it? Where's your stop? Okay. And yeah, why are you in it? Where's your stop loss if you're wrong? And where are you taking profits? Right? Those are the three major things. Right? Don't trade just because you're bored or just because you think something's oversold and it needs to come back. Like, that's not a reason to trade. Really plan your trades out. Right? Say, look, we get up here, I'm getting short. I don't care if you got to wait a day or two. Get it, right? Nvidia today, right? We had the 50-day. I'm going to go into that trade because we were short Nvidia. I was short Nvidia today. That's where I made my money today. I got, again, like I said, I got into it twice. I ended up taking it off because I accidentally, got myself back in it the second time. Right? Not accidentally, but accidentally, because that's not where I wanted to take the short. So, after the first one, I was done. And my first entry, I tell you what, like today, I was like, let me just go try and time an entry. And like, I work on things from time to time, and you should too, whether it's reading time and sales and reading level 2, or, timing your entries, or, you get your entry, you get in, work on exiting, work on saying, I'm reading the chart, right? I'm saying to myself, who is in control, right? Are buyers in control? Are sellers in control? 2, has anything about the trade changed, right? Whether you use a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, okay? Now, if you are playing options, don't sacrifice price for time, or don't sacrifice time for price, okay? What that means is just because something's cheap doesn't mean that's what you should do, all right? I give the analysis or the analogy all the time that, a 20% gain on a $300 option is more than, a 20% gain on a daily, right? Like, think about it like that. You have time. You're also helping the volatility. You're putting yourself in the best position possible to take advantage of a movement if you're right. And then you're also kind of helping yourself with if you're wrong, because you may possibly not lose as much if you know what you're doing, right? If you're not buying too far out of the money, obviously, if you're not buying too far in the money, okay, because you don't want to buy in the money and then it just reverses on you and you're like, shit, I'm red. Well, there's just ways to do things. You got to work on entries. You got to work on a lot of things. And if you guys could, throw in some tickers in the chart, because we're going to start going over them right now. So PPI tomorrow, Michigan numbers. Next week, FOMC minutes. Okay, I don't know how big of a deal the FOMC minutes are going to be, but we're getting it. So what I also want to go into real quick was, what are we going to do about this range, right? What's going to get us out of it, right, to break either direction, right? So let's start off with the first thing everyone should be doing, right? You need to see where the dollar is, right? We know where the dollar is. We just went over that. 2, right? You want to keep your eye on the VIX. Now, you can usually tell the prices of the VIX with the option price, obviously, or put prices, however you want to do it. You'll start noticing that if something does happen, these options are going to get pretty expensive, right? If you guys are new, if you guys are just joining us also, if you could, please hit the like, right? Hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. I'd like to be able to get to like 100 likes too. Is also on my two goals that I have, and I do have 3 people in mind as of right now, which I have more, but there's 3 main people that I have in mind that I would like to bring on and do an interview with and bring them on the stream. So if you could, that would greatly appreciate. It would be greatly appreciated, but it would help with that. We do this stuff free 99. Keep your eye on the VIX. You guys want to know where, you just want to be aware. Okay, you want to be aware of what's going on. Is there confluence in the VIX with the SPY or the Qs? Because at times you may not notice this, but the VIX can go up with the market, right? And you want to know that, because that means there's something going on. All right, so let's get into the charts. I just want to reiterate some of these things, right? Manage your risk first, and then you worry about making money. Practice. If you're new, practice the basics It's important to just practice them. So before I get into the SPY, right? Let's really talk about where volatility's been. Okay, volatility this past week has been in the Qs and the SPY and the IWM and the Dow, right? We have had some volatility, right? Well, let's bring up TLT because I completely forgot about it again. Look at the day TLT had today. I can't whistle, my mouth is dry. So if only we could have captured, boom, 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 that big downside there. Volatility is in the bond market like no other. Again, this is the second time. All right, so let's go through the charts. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts for tomorrow. Again, we're going to cover some charts and kind of do some homework right now, right? It is getting it's not too late, but so here's TLT, right? This 97.50 area is what we want to have on our charts because it's just been a flat top resistance as of right now. All right. So if you want to get out a pen and paper, write this stuff down. It's going to be important. Take it with you as soon as tomorrow. All right. And then we'll cover the NVIDIA trade and all that fun stuff, right? So TLT had another down day. It was down almost 2% again, right? Is this going to be another rollover, right? Are we going to get another rollover out of TLT? I'm not sure, but I'm going to chart it right now to be able to, you know what, 100, 103, we're not up there. I'll worry about it when we get up there. So let's do this. Let me go to, I'm on a 15 minute. So if we go to the daily chart, guys, it's been rejecting this 50-day, right? I have a couple sectors too that I want to talk to you guys about. Don't let me forget about that. You know, look at the extension away from that 9 EMA on the daily, right? Look at that extension. Look how far it just said Audi 5000, bro, from Step Brothers. Look at that. Look at that gap, right? Look at that gap. So what we want to do is we want to look at, all right, 50 days up above here. The 100-day just is moving down through the 200-day. All right. This thing's pretty oversold. Could we look at calls tomorrow? Could we look at an up market tomorrow? It's kind of what I'm thinking tomorrow. I'd like to see that. Doesn't mean we'll get it, but it's what I'd like to see. All right. So MACD, this is a daily. So you're closing. The thing is with this TLT is you're closing higher, but the MACD is still putting in a lower low. Look at that, right? You closed higher than the low. You put in a high, but yet the MACD put in a new low. That's pretty bearish, and if I had to say so. I mean, you could technically, I guess, look back since we're on a daily and look at the bigger picture. You know, you do have a pennant breakdown here. Look at that. It's like perfect, right? Look at that. Just broke down out of the pennant. So maybe after, if we get this bounce back, we'll look to go see if we can catch possibly a bounce on TLT, guys. I'm telling you, a few dollars on TLT is probably a little bit more than you might think it'd be, you know, percentage-wise, if you get your entries right. So we know we got the 100-day moving down through the 50-day. We're on a 15-minute chart. Let me get the after hours on. Why not? But I wanted to see the gaps. You know, so what this does, if you trade during the day, I'll usually have no pre-market or after hours, right? For the simple sorry, my nose is dry. For the simple fact that these moving averages, okay, they are based on price and time, right? So the more time you're adding on them, the more that they're going to calculate in, and that's the more adjustment it's going to be. And, you know, if you're an intraday trader, you kind of want, you really want to focus on having those moving averages where they should be during market hours, right? Now, if you're trading pre-market, or let's say if news happens, right? That's a little different. If news comes out pre-market, then maybe you do want to have a pre-market hour on, right? So let's do it. So you have a flat top resistance, right? You have a gap down, right? You find support, you get your bounce back, resistance. Big gap, right? Big gap. So if you notice, what did we have here? Right? You had, obviously, overnight, look at that. In this area at $97, you had sellers. So you climb your way back up, right? You climb your way back up. Where you at? 97.20, right? 97.18. Okay? Where are we at? 96.96, right? Funny. Well, what happened last time we were at 97? Bang, right? Right here. 97.12. What happened last time? They sold this thing the heck off. Bang, come up, hit VWAP, boom. They just got rid of this thing at the end of the day. That's a big 15-minute candle that you haven't seen yet. Right? We have not seen a volume candle that big yet on TLT, okay? TLT is going to be on my watch tomorrow and going into next week. All right. Again, with this yield curve inversion, why I brought up TLT after I'm talking about the yield curve inversion is because if that yield curve inversion, right? If this Fitch grading is going to help to, flatten the yield curve, you're going to see downside on TLT. Why would you see downside on TLT? Well, as rates, as long-term 20-year treasury, as long-term interest rates go up, the price of technically the bond or the stock, whatever you want to call it, the price comes down, right? As yields go up, the price of that bond ticket or the price of TLT will go down. So if we know, that we're starting to see not a yield curve inversion, but a yield flattening, we're going to see TLT get hit as those longer term rates come up. That's going to bring TLT down, okay? And that's why you've seen such a, just a massive sell-off in TLT, okay? So we will look to see if we can get a bounce. We do have a little bit of bullish divergence, but I don't know if it's time yet. Because I still think if the 2-year is going to sit where it is, right, higher for longer, if that short end of the bond market or short end of the yield curve is going to stay around that 5.5%, and the longer end of the yield curve has to come up, I would expect to see more downside on TLT. Now I have a graph that a lot of financial advisors use that show you, coming out of a bear market that usually will last about 18 months is your average bear market. But after the bear market and you get that recovery, yields or bonds still are going down. And that would have to do with the yield curve inversion, because technically, if you were to have a yield curve inversion to predict the bear market and you get a recession and you're in a bear market, right? You would have to uninvert that yield curve, and then that would mean bringing up the longer term yields, right? Which would do this to TLT. Yields come up, the price goes down. So it all makes sense, right? This is probably the only thing that has made sense, right? We have high inflation with a high dollar. Don't make sense. Well, this is the only thing that's made sense so far. And, that yield curve, starting to flatten itself out, if that's what it's doing. And again, I would personally, because this did not happen until that Fitch rating. It started 2 days before. Maybe they got the warning, right? Up here with this Head and Shoulders, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. You came up, you tapped it right there. Or it was right there or something. I forget where it was at, depending on the chart that I'm on. But they knew something was coming, I feel like. So we'll see if so tomorrow TLT, okay? Let's say if we get a bounce back, right? And we see TLT back up here in the 96s. Let me take this off so I can show you guys what I'll be doing and what I'll be looking for. All right? I'm not really going to be worried about the gaps too much, but I will be looking for this area right here at 96.40, 96.50. Let me see if I can read this right. We'll say you know what, we're gonna stick with what I have. Right, we're gonna stick with this 96.50. Right, exactly, 96.50. We're gonna see if this 96.50 can act as resistance. If we get another pop back up, I want to see if I can get short. Right, you have a gap fill there. You have previous support. Right, kind of a double bottom, but not really. Okay, gap fill. You have previous support. Let's see if we turn that into resistance and get a little bit more downside. My target would obviously, longer term, if I do swing this, would be to fill that gap, would be to fill that gap. See if we can't get back down in here to like 940.50 or so, and see what we can get out of it, if we can get something out of it. All right, what I can do also is I could also measure this move, right? I'm sure it might be the 23 fib right now, but I wouldn't be too concerned with doing that. It's just, you would technically just watch rates. You would just want to watch these longer term yields, and you can just play it off of that. 32 fib is up there at that other gap fill above us at 90, 97, 85, 98. We could look for that too. We'll see if this is a higher low. It's something I'm going to keep on watch, because if that yield curve is going to uninvert, this is where action is going to be. The volatility, if the markets slow down, this is where the volatility is going to be. I promise. Right? And volatility pays if you know what you're doing. Okay? So let's go into the SPY. And then we'll get into some of the trades. I'm going to go over some tickers. So I told you guys that we're going to see volatility both up and down, right, with this downgrade. Right, multiple reasons. Well, that downgrade is going to affect long-term debt. Long-term debt's going to be, that credit is going to affect, higher credit. It's going to be a higher interest rate. So Amazon, see how we took that whole move back on the spot today. Yeah, it was. What's even more amazing is that we ended green on the day, man. Thank you guys for the likes. If you guys haven't done so already, guys and gals, right, ladies and gents, hit the like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers and 100 likes. Isn't it crazy? We still closed green, right? We still closed green. So today I'd have to flip my paper over. I was leaning to the long side, right? I was leaning to the long side this morning. It's just, so this is the thesis of the SPY that I'm going to get into, right? I kind of touched on it on Bitcoin. So we're going to need a reason to break up and out, or to break down out of this. It's like, what is going to cause us to make that move? We could sit here for another week or two. We don't have much data next week. Let's go look at it. We don't have much data next week, right? So here we go. Monday, right? You do have GDP for Japan, right? Nothing too crazy, right? Tuesday, nothing too crazy. We have retail sales on Tuesday, all right? There's some other data, but yeah, building permits, okay. FOMC minutes on Wednesday. All right, let's go into Thursday. Initial jobless claims. Okay, Philly Fed Index. Inflation rate for Japan. And then Friday, Baker Hughes. We don't have much. We don't have much next week. So, we might want to just get used to this range that we have here. Might want to get used to it. I almost wanted to I wanted to grab some calls, but I didn't do it. I'm like, no, that's just trading because I'm bored, and I am assuming that we're going to gap up, and we could, but we could also not gap up. Something could happen. So this is a 30-minute chart. So if we go to the daily, again, I apologize about the lines. I do apologize. It's like, if I fix them, they'll be give me 2-3 days and them lines are going to be right back on there. So bear with me. I do apologize. So here's our 50-day. What I like to do is, this is going to help you guys, right? And I'm going to explain some of these trades that I took today. So here we are, the 50 days right there, right? Right at this line at 442.28. So you want to watch, because if you look at the Qs are leading to the downside, right? Qs, right? Let's go to Invesco QQQ. All right, the Qs are already at the 50-day, right? So it should just be a matter of time before the SPY gets there, right? PPI comes in a little hot tomorrow, right? You have that previous double top here. The Qs found support, got a bounce back, rejected the base that we put in, okay, and then has done nothing but pull back ever since, right? Pull back ever since. Now the SPY has not made it there yet, right? Futures, I think, have. I'm pretty sure futures have made it. So I want to look to see if we can get down to this 50-day. Why is this thing being so difficult? I don't like that. Right? I want to see if we can get down to that 50-day. This red line is the 50-day, and that's going to put us at 422, right? 422.20, that area. Now, the 50-day moving average is going to move once we open up, depending on where we open up tomorrow. It's going to price in. It does move along with the price action, but whether we get a gap up or a gap down, it's going to depend on where this 50-day is when we open up tomorrow. Wouldn't doubt it if it gets pulled up a little bit and we get that 50-day right up here, right? 443. I want to see us be able to get down there, guys. I want to see us get down there, but we may have a bounce first. We may bounce first. So let's go over the charts. Oh my gosh. This is so crazy. I have to do this. I got to move it first. God forbid. All right. So again, I do apologize about these lines. Let's get, so if you guys don't have a pen and paper, I would grab it now, right? I would grab it now because there's an area I'm looking at that I want to get short if we cannot get back up through it, right? So we have an area here. It'll probably be easier if I show it to you, and it'll make more sense if I take this off. All right. We have an area of support and resistance right now. So I want to see what happens tomorrow if we get to this 447.50, right? 447.40, 447.43 is the exact number. All right. I want to see what happens if we get there. I would say that this could be minor resistance. This is a minor resistance level. We could turn it into resistance tomorrow. All right. I wouldn't be, it would not shock me if we ran a test to this 447.50 area, right? And then we get our pullback. Again, this is depending on how PPI comes in. Does it come in worse than expected? Does it come in under? Does it come in line? It comes in line, or even better, then, you want to watch yields. You want to see what the dollar's doing. Okay, you want to watch energy. So, my first target, again, 447.50, right? If we just hang out and you are able to continuously, if you are able to put in higher lows, and we do get up through this 447.50 area, my next target, okay, is going to be the 50-day, right? Where is it? It's below us. So that's AMD I'm talking about. Where's my 50-day? It's not on here. I thought I had it. It's all good. It's fine. 447.50. And we've really got to watch for, it's an area. It's not one specific price, but 448.50 or 488.50 would be the next resistance. It's 448.50 or come on. 448.50 to like 449. Okay. So where do I get that from, right? Look, let's zoom it in so you guys can see it. Here's your gap down, right? There's your support. It bounces up. You bounce up, resistance. Look, hangs up on it, hangs it, and then it breaks it. Support, resistance, support, resistance, resistance, breaks it, support, resistance, gaps up, support. You just broke it. You gapped back up. You wicked that whole area. Again, resistance, support, resistance, resistance, and then support all through here. So it's like this whole area. It's like the middleman, right? Bottom end of the range, I'm buying until it changes. Top end of the range, I'm selling until it changes, right? Remember, August and September are the weak months. This is what you got to keep in mind, right? There was a really cool chart. I don't know if I sent it over or not, right? I don't know if I did. Okay, let's see. Let's have a look. All right, let's have a look. Let's see here. So, no, not there. Okay. There's one, there's two. Man, I did not send it over. You got to be kidding me. All right, guys. So, look, here's one. This is from B of A. Okay. Card spending per household for goods and services. Card spending for goods and services. Percentage month over month. 3-month moving average seasonally adjusted. All right, so in the blue you have services including restaurants, and in the red you have retail excluding restaurants, right? Look at the steep rise in that, guys and girls, ladies and gents, right? Services including restaurants, just bang. Everybody was getting it. And then look at that drop off. Went negative, right? Still in negative territory. So, this is just going positive. So this is something I wanted to show you guys here. Again, it's services consumption. Card spending per households for goods and services. Goods and services. Right? Services including restaurants. Retail excluding restaurants. Okay. Retail spending. We have retail numbers coming out next week. Yeah, man. Appreciate you, buddy. So, again, I'm just going over some charts. That's all. And talking about the day, I'm going to go over the trade of the day. Why did I take it? All that fun stuff. So, you have a great night, buddy. We'll see you in the morning. I'm going to get ready and get off here in a minute, too. I'm going to keep my cat up because I'm not letting her do that to me again. It was just, I'm done. I said that I was going to have her stay up with me while this live stream, but I had her up, and then she ended up going back to bed. So maybe I'll give her some catnip or something. But all right, guys. So we have a pivot high, we have a pivot low. We have to see what these PPI numbers are. So if we come up and we cannot get back above this 447.50, I want to see if we can turn it back into resistance. Okay, back into resistance to roll it over. Okay. So what I'm getting at is, let's say we open up where we are, or even a gap up, right? So if I take this line, this is what a lot of people don't do. This is what a lot of people don't think of. We all know, like, just the maximum amount of move the SPY is going to give us is about 2%, right? So what would this be? If we open up where we are, right? So that would be 0.3%. See, it seems reasonable, right? Seems reasonable. Low end of the range. And I'm not gonna. It's gonna come up. We already know that. So from today, let's see. I just don't know what it is that we're going to get. Like, what type of news would give us a percent move, right? A full percent move. I could see like 0.8 or so, but there's 0.95, which takes us up to that 450 level, right? Ultimately, I want to see if we're able to put in either a higher low or we break down to that 50-day, or again, we're just going to sit here, until something changes. I don't know if I said this yet or not. But we need a reason, we don't have a reason right now to go higher, and we don't have a reason to go lower just yet, Okay, let's go up to the Qs. All right, I'm going to talk Baba. I'm going to talk NVIDIA. We're going to go over some levels. You know what? I'm just going to go to NQ. So here is a 30-minute chart. All right, you want to write these levels down, guys. All right, straight downtrend. The Qs are in such a downtrend, it ain't even funny. They're just continuously putting in new lows and lower highs. All right, lower lows and lower highs. So what would I look for in the Qs tomorrow? All right, the Qs I want to see. So we did bounce, right? You did have somewhat of a bounce today at the end of the day, or right now at least. We are green on futures, are green. All right, I want to see what happens if you get here. Same for the SPY. I got nothing. I got nothing. All right, so there's our resistance. I thought so. All right, there's our resistance. I thought so. All right, so let's do this. So here we go. Here's where we closed. What the heck? Where did it go? Where in the heck did that go? Hold on. Hold on now. Okay. There it is. That's why. So it needs to be on a 15-minute chart. So I hate to take a bunch of time with this, but thank you guys for joining. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already subscribed. We do trade Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4 right here on YouTube.com. Ivy League Trading, YouTube.com. All right, so we are turning this, bounce, call it, what is this, 8 o'clock in the morning, that pre-market pivot low in this area right here, we're trying to turn it into resistance. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to just make it resistance like that. So what I would look for is to see if the Qs get up to that 1513, all right, that 1530 level. Oh my goodness, you got to be shitting me, man. It's just not working out, is it? It's just not working out. Just downtrend, man. I mean, not to keep saying man, but see what happens if we get this bounce back, right? You have a flat bottom base here that you finally broke out of. All right. Now do we start to pull back into there and turn it into resistance? Today, Junior. All right. So that's what I'm going to be watching. You have somewhat of a double top there. You know what? Fudge that. Let's do this. So let's go into some stocks real quick. We're going to go through some levels. We're going to get ourselves ready. So there's our resistance level right there, right? Very easy. Let's see. We have a gap fill. Came up. Gap's been filled, I guess. I want to see where we open up. If we open up in this area and kind of just float around here, and if PPI comes in a little hot, I want to see some more downside. Let's go into some stocks. All right, Apple. All right, Apple is below its 50-day, believe it or not. It's actually hanging out on the 100-day moving average. The biggest stock in the market on the 100-day moving average. All right, let's go to 15-minute chart. All right, we have a double top putting in a base here. All right, that was a lower high it put in also. So this is a range. Until Apple breaks, okay, you have support here. You have sat here and tried and tried and tried and tried. It will be only a matter of time before it does break, right? That doesn't mean that you can't run up and test this area again at 179.98 or 180, right? It's an area, so 180. You very well could retest that level, all right? So I'm going to be looking to play that range. If we break out and down off of this level, right, and turn this 177.50 into, like, if we break it and then pull back up to turn it into support or resistance, I am going to want to see if I can take this thing back down to that previous pivot low. All right. It's a whole area here, but looks like we have a gap fill here. Yes, we are coming into the gap on Apple. It probably won't break the first time we try to get through it. Okay? Like I said, it takes time. Right? You still have some price action down here. It's like it's going to be really hard to just get that thing to just straight drop on you. PPI could be it. Okay? PPI could be it. Let's go into like Amazon, right? Let's go into Amazon. And we'll go into BABA earnings and NVIDIA, AMD, some of that stuff. Sorry that the stream is boring tonight. I'm going to be moving the whole stream over. We're going to be going over there. I'm going to have charts. I'm going to have a lot of stuff. We're going to have a lot of stuff going to be coming here. And it should be pretty exciting. Some really informative things. So Amazon had great earnings, right? Great earnings. This is a weekly chart now. The weekly chart, we are above all major moving averages. Well, if we're up there on the weekly, we should be up there on the daily as well. Yep, double bottom on the 50. All right. So Amazon, I am waiting to see if we can get this area here, 138.81. 138.81. Right, let me see here. Jesus, I hate that I have to click so much. It's so annoying, but it is what it is, right? So I want you guys to see this, right? Let's see. Let me turn on the afterburners. No, I'm just kidding. Let me turn on post and pre-market, or pre-market and after hours, because I want to see where we're trading at now. Futures are up a little bit. So if we for some reason gap up, PPI is good. You want to think about buying the pullbacks. Amazon has a reason to be long if the market's going to give you a bounce. All right. You also have a gap fill up here. Right. This gap fill takes you to 141.75 area. Okay, 141.75. So we are now. I say to bring up the moving averages because you need to know where they're at, even on the weeklies. Right, even on the weeklies. All right. So my plan for Amazon tomorrow is, where do we open up? Let's say if we gap up. If we gap up and the market does decide that it wants to hold, that previous resistance and break up through it and hold it, we'll look for a long. You don't have anything on right now. I don't have anything on right now. There's data that's going to be coming out, so we got to watch for that. All right. So sorry if I didn't tell you guys, 138.75. Okay. That'll be where I'd like to get long if I am long-minded. All right. I'm not, clueless to the fact that there is, previous resistance up here. There's a double top. So I have a little bit of selling that you're going to be coming into. So you may even get a pullback off of it to just find support at VWAP to then break through it, or we break through it in the morning with PPI. Then if we fill this gap, then we look for it. I'll probably be playing the pullback. Okay. Let me do this real quick because I want to have it up. It's only 9:30. I'm getting a little tired. So look, we're up. So what am I going to look for? I'm going to look to see if we can pull this back. Okay, I want to see if we can pull this back off the resistance at 139.55, and then see if we can, start finding some buyers at today's resistance and just stay in this range. I would expect some type of a pullback coming up here very soon. Okay, I would expect it very soon. So that's that. Just wanted to make sure that the light was on out there. So Amazon, again, Depending on how the day goes, I want to see a pullback and be a buyer, okay, at this, at this previous, at this 138.75 if we're going to get, going up to the upside, right? I haven't looked at Google, but let's look at Nvidia. I traded Nvidia today. I was a little early on this trade. Let's talk about the trade. How can you make money? As of right now, I'm going to help you do that. So the first thing I was looking at was the 50-day. So we had this big down day yesterday, right? So we had a down day yesterday, and this gold line is the 50-day that I have on my screen, the daily 50 daily moving average, 50 SMA. Okay, that's that red bar you see there. It's right here if you guys can't see it. Okay, so this 50-day, right, also lines up with what? Because you want to use multiple indicators. You want to use these, like, anytime you use anything, you want to use it in conjunction with something else, like where they line up. They all line up in an area, and that area is either going to be a buy or it's going to be a sell. Okay, in this case, we are below the 50-day. We're below this previous double top. You had some support here where you had this nice long candle up, and then if I draw a line right here for you, you're going to see what I'm talking about. All right, let me try and make this so it's not too big so you guys can see it. All right, right here, this big candle broke up, you pulled it back. There is a range right here, as you can see, these two white lines, but a minor level is actually right there. You see that? If I pull it in, you see how it was support, it broke it, right? And then now look at the tails here, that double top, that small support area that it broke down out of, or it really gapped below it. It came back up, it turned it into resistance. So this area right there is actually a small area of resistance. And that area is 430.50 on Nvidia. Okay, that's just one small area, right? So let's pan it out. Let me go back because of the way these charts are. All right, so I know I have the 50-day right here lining right up with, what did I say? Previous resistance, right? We have two indicate, like I'm using an indicator with a technical level at that, right? Okay, I just want to make sure the camera was good. It was like off or something. All that's going to be fixed. You're not going to be able to see no more of that. We're going to be doing things right here soon. So if you could like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers and 100 likes. We're working on getting things professional here. Not so much rookie hour or whatever you want to call it. So that previous resistance, okay, has now the 50-day moving up. I know this is a pain in the ass, guys. Do you guys see why this frustrates me so much? Can you guys see it now? Why it's so frustrating? Okay. So here we go. Resistance. We had the 50-day working itself up. It broke it yesterday. Okay. So yesterday we broke it. If you can't see it, I do apologize. It's not me. It is the chart. All right. We broke it. So we broke prior support that we know is also resistance. Resistance, when broken, should become support. We have broken the resistance. First try. I end the 50-day. So you have resistance and the 50, or support and the 50-day. Both broken. Bang. Right? On what? An increase in volume as well. Right? There's always more to it. Look at the increase in volume there. So I said today, guys, let's look for the bounce back into the 50-day for a rejection, right? So what did I do, right? I said, members, I'm going to be looking for a bounce back into the 50-day, which was prior support, prior resistance, okay? I was also using a few different indicators that I'm not going to go into right now, So I nailed this trade, right? I nailed this trade very first thing in the morning, okay? And I always say take profits if you have it. So I think I got it. I think my entry and my fill, even with commissions, was 92 cents, right? It was 92 cents, $92 a contract. So I got in at 92, and before I could blink, literally as soon as I got filled, I was green. I was up like 5, 6%, 8%, right? As soon as I got filled, I was green. I said, okay, I got the movement I was looking for. So looking back at the bigger picture, you have what? This pivot low that we broke, right? Which was prior support, right? Because what did we break? We broke prior resistance. Now, let me bring this sideways so you guys can see it. So we can all see it, right? We can see it together, those trash cans. So you see here, this pivot high, right? Resistance. Once resistance is broken, no, I fucking hate this fucking chart. Excuse my language. I do not mean to cuss on here. So, double top, right? Broke through it, rallied through it. We come back, we come to test it. We pull back to test this area that you could not get through once again. So after that break, I wanted to look for the test. So obviously, it's not holding as support anymore. Okay, there we go. I looked for the bounce back into it because what was support should now be resistance. We've broken it. We've broken the support. Now those buyers that were there, right, that were looking to go long, are now red on their position, and they're going to say, I'm not going to sell this. A lot of them. They want to wait for the bounce back, or they want to wait for it to get green or break even before they sell. This is the psychology, because you got to think there are a lot more people that just buy the equity outright. They don't buy options. They don't play that game. So institutional fiduciaries, all that, they'll buy the shares themselves, right? So if I were to buy here, right, and I didn't take profit up here and it rolls over in a fashion that I just couldn't get out, if I get that bounce back, right, I'm red. So if I get that bounce back, I'm going to say, let me sell this, right? Because what was support is not support anymore. I'm going to be flat on my position, and I'm not going to be necessarily red. Because now psychologically they're thinking where they bought is now it's in a downtrend. It's selling off, right? So psychologically seeing that position red coming back up to break even, they're going to sell it, and then that ensues like selling, right? Same here. Like all the people that were here buying in front of this area because they saw it pull back. It rallied. It pulled back. They're expecting another rally. Well, they put in a lower high. So that's the psychology around it. Because everyone here, right? Think about it like this. All these people that missed the rally, right? This stock just went up and up and up and up, right? This is 200. Now it's up to 436. They missed a $200 run, right? So they buy the stock. It pulls back. It comes back up. Right? It's coming back up. They sell it because they were red. But then what did the stock do? They sold it. And what did the stock do again? Look, oh my God. It rallied without them. So now they're like, damn it, I missed it. I missed the rally. They wait for the pullback, right? It pulls back into the area. They go to buy it, and then it sells. And then they're like, shit, it's red. So they wait for it to come back. It's red. They sell. There's just a psychology. Again, I told you in the beginning of the stream that a stock chart is a plotted graph of buyers and sellers psychology, pretty much. It really is, right? It really is. So, long story short, I did not mean to go on that rant, but we had support broke. I looked for the bounce back. I said, guys, let's look for the bounce back. We got the 50-day. We got the support. The support broke. You have two areas converging at the same price. So we took the short, right? I took the short in the morning. Again, I think I got those contracts at 92 cents. And I took profits at the end at like 107 into 110, right? And I was out. This was actually before the down day. This is as it was going up, right? We can go to a 1 minute, right? We can go to a 1 minute because, and there's another lesson right here as well. I forget where it was, guys. I literally, where was it? It had to have been a 3-minute chart. This is NVIDIA. I did trade NVIDIA today. Like, I literally, it might have been this candle, right? It had to have been that candle. I can give you guys the times. I can bring them up. But it was just crazy that I made $20 a contract on a move, but it was like I got follow through. So I don't know if it was, it may have been this bounce. It's just hard for me to look back and see that, you know, this candle gave me $20 a contract, pretty much. Pretty much gave me $20 a contract. I was in at 92 cents, nailed the entry, and it went up to 110. I said, I got to be out. It's down there, it's like 20%, right? So I'm like, and I took it as it went down. I'm pretty sure it was this candle there. Pretty sure it was during that candle there. Together, a word salad of the biggest buzzwords for PR headlines this year. Guess what the most popular word was? NASCAR, what's up, buddy? So that is, I put together a word salad of the biggest buzzwords for PR. The headlines with the biggest moves. What was it? It had to be NVIDIA. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm trying to read this correct. I put together a word salad of the biggest buzzwords for PR headlines this year. Guess what the most popular word was? The headlines with the biggest moves. Gotta say NVIDIA. Gotta say NVIDIA. What's up, Heather? How you doing tonight? So that was one trade. I ended up re-entering this up here. No, re-entered it right there, guys. So I took this trade twice. The second time I didn't mean to because I was waiting for the rollover. Right? I was waiting for this rollover. If you guys want to look for this, look at this, guys, right here. So I had this pennant in right here coming into the day, right? I had that drawn at the beginning of the day. Here's your previous pivot low that you came up to, and this was the area that I should have been short at because then I could have caught all that. Again, I did not want to get like the break above 50 day, and then I got to see what time, guys, I entered. I'm sorry, I have to, because for me, the amount of money that I made on that is like, it's crazy to me. Because I was short, unless I accidentally bought freaking calls and didn't know it. I can't be that ridiculous. I can't be that goofy, right? Unless I did. Okay, yeah, I got the NVIDIA 410 puts, right? I got NVIDIA 410 puts at 92 cents. That was at 9:34 a.m. 9:34 a.m. was the whatchamacallit? Oh my gosh. And I sold them at 9:35. I didn't know it was that quick. So for anybody on here, I'm so sorry. I mean, what am I supposed to do? They went from 92 cents to $1.07. You know what I mean? Announce clinical positive FDA treatment are the buzzwords most often found in PRs with the biggest intraday moves. Oh, yeah. And you just had one with Eli Lilly not too long ago, didn't we? A couple days ago or something like that. For sure. I don't know why I didn't. I should have known that. And listen, the biggest one should be Alzheimer's. Announced clinical positive FDA treatment are the buzzwords most often found in PRs. That's what the biggest. Oh, nice. Do we have one coming up tomorrow that I can write down, NASCAR? If we do, if this is going somewhere, I will definitely be on it. Announced clinical, because like a lot of the, but we both know that like a lot of the whatchamacallits, the Alzheimer's stuff doesn't even really make the FDA stuff yet. Trial, cancer, science, agreement, patient, strategic. Oh, that's so funny. That's funny. I'm sorry. I thought you were thinking this. I was reading it a little bit wrong. I'm sorry. But that the FDA most certainly is. I don't know how I didn't get that one right. I just like I said, I read it wrong. So that was my trade today. So it was a scalp. I wanted to re-enter the short, right? And I didn't get my entry right. I kind of entered it and it was like this long. Oh, this was what I was wanting to tell you guys. Right here, right? I accidentally got short here again, right? Again. So if I pull up, I can't remember exactly what the heck was going on as I traded this. Because looking back at this, it's like, why would I? Because I guess I'm front running the move, knowing that we're coming into the 50-day. It's 9:32, so yeah. Well, it had to have been here. So it was here. Wow. So this is why I got paid so much. It's from this rapid movement, right? I don't know, man. That's so crazy. Like I said, they went from 90 cents to $1.10. That's $20 a contract. Buy 10, 15, 20 of them and see how your day goes consistently. Real quick. It wasn't a home run or anything. So I got out. I accidentally got back into these puts because I wanted to be short. I was short-minded. I got into these puts again. But the thing is I'll have my order up. Right, I have my order up and I accidentally clicked it. I accidentally got my order and I got like the worst fill possible. Okay? I didn't like it. So I got rid of it only for it to, run higher and then eventually collapse. So I'm going to be watching Nvidia tomorrow. Nvidia is going to be on my watch list. It looks like it still wants to roll over. I want to see if we can break this base here, right? So if I pull up Amazon, right? Let's look at the stocks that were weak. Like semiconductors were kind of weak today. I feel like I'm going to be apologizing for this one today too. For this stream too. Nvidia is trying to roll over, right? Nvidia is trying to roll over here at 425 or 424.44. So if I pull up Amazon, right? Amazon's doing something completely different, which, guys, today, look, bang, it's already above all this mess, right? It rebounded. It's above all that mess, right? If I put Nvidia right next to it, okay, it is not above all that mess. So Nvidia, if Nvidia was strong like Amazon, strong like bull, Amazon or Nvidia would be right here, guys. This is where Amazon is. Nvidia is right here, obviously. And it looks like it's trying to turn back around. It looks like it's trying to head lower. Okay? So if you don't know, you should start looking. You can use Finviz, you can use all types of things. Right? Look at Tesla. Tesla was got a little bit of strength with it, more so than other sectors. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Nvidia, right? We could use Nvidia to see if it can break that level, because I can also back it up with Amazon long or a Tesla long, because consumer cyclicals had some strength today, right? They finished the day stronger. That there was strength, more strength there. So there is a gap fill on Nvidia that I want to see if we can get to, and if I have to swing this in the next week, I will. Right? If I have to swing it in the next week, I will. So let's see here. I think also I'm not even going to talk about those puts because I actually, after looking at it, I'm like, man, they paid well. Again, 92 cents to $1.07. I'll take that all day. I'll take it all day. It's nothing big. It's not a home run, but So Nvidia has a gap fill. Let me pull this up real quick. Settings, equities. Boom, boom, boom. So I wanted to have all this stuff already ready. So I want to see if we can get Amazon or Nvidia back down here. There's a gap fill here. It's at 408.29. Okay, 408.29 is where I want to see if we can get Nvidia to. All right. There's this gap fill. You have a small area of support, and that whole area is like, it's going to be tough because there's a lot of it's mess, and you actually wicked there already, right off of the morning. The morning low on Nvidia was right at this level. If you guys can't see it, okay, if you guys can't see it, I will. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I apologize. I'm so over these charts already. I'm so over them. Like, I shouldn't have to do all this. This is ridiculous. Right? So, it's right. It's going to be like right here, guys. This is like the pivot low. Right? It's like a support, resistance area for Nvidia. What's the price? 418.50, 418.48. So if I go back here, right, and we look at 418.50, 418.48, what do we have? 418. Don't you fucking click. How'd I know? Right here. You see this mess here? It's a little bit of resistance, right? Some resistance, support, right? That's pretty much where it wicked into today. Oh my god, fuck it. I'm getting frustrated, guys. I do apologize. Right there. Let's just put a line there so we see it. See it now? There we go. Alright, so I'm going to be watching Nvidia to see if we can break this level. If we do get past this level, that's a straight shot. That's a $10 move. That's a $10 gap fill. Right? Just about. You're going to get bounce backs. You're going to get pullbacks. You may have to swing this one. They may not just give it to you. Sometimes you got to work for trades. Alright, let's go to AMD. This chart's going to be messy. I already know it. Alright, AMD. 50-day moving average is up here. I want to see if we can get a bounce back on AMD, actually. I'm actually looking to see if we can get this thing to go to the upside. Alright. So, if I go to the daily. And this is why some people don't, they rely on one thing and they don't use multiple indicators. So, your 50-day is now curling down. I want to see if we can have them meet each other right here. Right? This 414.50 area. That's where I want to see if we can have AMD meet this 50-day. So AMD is strong. Now Nvidia's so far is weak. I don't know. I know Baba had earnings. I want to cover Baba real quick. There was a couple other things. If AMD is able to hold this area that was resistance today and make it support, okay, if we can break up above this 111.50, then I want to see if we can turn it into support. AMD also has a small gap fill up here. Where at? right where the 50-day was, right where that 50-day is. So I want to see if we can kind of get that thing some juice and get it going to the upside, whether there's news, no news. Again, you want to watch the volume. The volume's been pretty low. I'm going to see what we wake up to, what kind of news we wake up to, and then take it from there. I just don't have any type of I don't know, like real moves on breaking technical levels, and like the SPY. How is the SPY going to break out of the highs or break through the lows if there's no news? You have the Qs. How are the Qs going to just, the Qs are actually in a downtrend. They're weak. You know what? Look at this chart, guys. How about this? XLK, I think it is. XLK. Look how weak she is. Again, that's all because of Apple, right? I told you guys a while ago that there was, look at that, a head and shoulders. Well, it just took a whole lot of time for that to play out, right? They waited for everyone to forget about it, only to run it up, okay? Only to run it up. So that has some weakness, right? It's below the 50-day, Microsoft, Apple, they're all coming down. Oh my gosh, look how messy that is. I'm sorry. Microsoft is still trying to hold. I got to clean these charts up. I got to do something with this stuff. Let's see here. Microsoft, obviously, you broke that level. If you do get a bounce back and you cannot break up through that 326.50 area, you want to look for a short. You want to look for a short there. You want to see if you have any gap fills, things of that nature. So tomorrow, I'm going to be on my P's and Q's. I'm going to get off here a little early tonight. Unless you guys have tickers or anything you guys want to cover, you guys can throw it in the chat. If Microsoft does break this level, we have a nice, you have a huge gap fill, guys, for Microsoft. This gap fill takes you all the way down here. I doubt you'll get it in one day, but you never know. One could be hopeful. All right, one could be hopeful. That's at 314. All right, 314, there's a gap fill. So a lot like NVIDIA, Microsoft, they all have gap fills. Okay? Do you guys remember what was strong and what was weak? Apple and Microsoft at new highs. Okay? Apple and Microsoft at new highs, while Google and Amazon were still doing lows, and everybody said they were weak. Well, the tide has changed a little bit. So I will also look to see if people are way too bearish on these names and it starts to reverse and come back to the upside. All right? I will look for that. I'm just going to move these. We don't need them anymore. I don't need any of this stuff. So if you guys are new here, I said look at that pennant. We do have a pennant. We do have a ascending wedge with a a failed, with a breakdown coming. So pretty much a bear flag, if you want to call it that. So yes, that's that. So we have broken that side of the channel. Now we got to look to see, what is the channel, right? Let's take this off. That all. No, I don't want to duplicate it. Get rid of that. Remove drawing. Remove this. Remove drawing. Remove this. I want to remove all of it. Remove it. Remove it. Remove it. I don't need it. I don't need it. Okay. Sorry about the stream again tonight. So you have a dividend getting ready to be paid out for Microsoft, guys. Now the dividend will be lower because the share price is higher. Do we start to see a buying in front of the dividend to get it claimed? That's something you could look for, right? Could we see this be support and get some upside because of this dividend getting ready to be paid out on Microsoft? So here's the range that we're looking at now. So far we're in the top side of it, but you're going to want to see if Microsoft can continue to stay in this range now. It's putting in a lower high. It's a nice range there. So if any bounce backs, we could look to swing short if the market's going to be weak. That's only if the market's weak, okay? So again, there's our gap fill. That is at least, it's at least 320 to 314, 314.50, $4.50 there. Did I cover Tesla already? I'm not sure if I did, right? Let's do this. I'm gonna breeze through these real quick. All right, equities, bang. All right, what are we doing? We're gonna bring up the daily and the weekly real quick. So, oh, I wanted to show you guys energy. So, weekly chart. Look at the convergence coming in on 50 and 200. Broke through the 100 weekly moving average. We're gonna go to the daily. All right, so we are below the 50. A lot of these names, these tech names, are below the 50-day moving average. All right, so that blue dot is your or the red line, and that blue dot is the 50-day. I want to see if we get a bounce back. I want to see if we bounce back into this level, this area of resistance. The longer you stay down here, that 50-day is going to anchor itself down. All right, it's going to anchor itself down. Right now, we're in support, flat top support. If we get down here, you want to look to be a buyer until, unless you come in on a day where there's just a big surge in volume to the sell side, then, and you have the signs that it's going to break. Until then, you want to be a buyer here, especially if the SPY is going to turn around. If you're not, and it's going to turn this 247.50 area into resistance, then you can look for the downside to fill that gap on the daily, okay? Let's go to a 30-minute chart. We'll start even with the hourly, right? I think that was also the issue. I was trying to fit way too much in at one time. So let's do that. Let's do that. Another chart where I have way too many lines. I mean, I know where they're at. If you guys don't know and you guys are just joining us, if you could like the stream, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Usually our live streams are a little bit more informational. We have a lot of cool things we go over. The past 2 days have been just a bit boring. There hasn't been much news. There hasn't been much going on. I would like to see what Plug did today. That was a stock I had on my list that it may not have had much liquidity, but it was actually a really nice setup. I forgot about it. So if tomorrow we cannot turn, if Tesla does not turn this area into, well, actually it looks like it kind of did already, right? 245.50, right? 245.59. So I could look at it two ways, right? Right there. Let's do this. This is why sometimes I don't like to have pre-market in. We're in a downtrend, right? We're in a downtrend. Don't make it difficult. If Tesla can regain, I'd like to look to be a buyer. See, sometimes I'm like, there is a gap fill. Where is it? There is a gap fill up here. Right there. That's your, no, it wicked into it. All right, maybe there isn't. I want to see if we can get a bounce back. I do. If we reclaim, if Tesla stays above 245.87, I want to see if we turn that into support. All right, I want to see if we can turn it into support. If the markets are going to the upside, if the markets continue to go to the downside, then I'm going to look to be short. Okay, I want to be short the weaker names though. That way I know I'll get the follow through. And whatever's strong, it's like I don't want to be swimming upstream. That's what I'm getting at. So let's pull up the 15-minute chart. It's a little bit easier to look at. It really will show you what you need to see and not see. Right? So there we go, right? That looks a lot better, doesn't it? So we have, let's see here. You know, you have a rising MACD. The volume is so-so. You have, you know, the volume does pull back on this downtrend. I do. I want to see if we can hold 246, right? 246. 246 is going to be the number. So I want to see if Tesla holds 246. I want to go long. Now, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this. Like, does Tesla, this is obviously resistance. Does Tesla just come back up and put in a higher low? You know, would be my thoughts. So I was doing a really good job of this, if you guys noticed. But do you see how it's getting all combobulated now? Like before, I was like, let's look to see. So there was a nice pennant there, right? This downtrend. Actually, let's do this because this looks good now. Now it's painting the picture to myself, right? There's the downtrend because you had news of the CFO stepping away, right? Let me bring this up. So let's get rid of all this. I'm just going to get rid of all of it, and then we're going to play it out. I may not want to do that. I may not want to do that. You had a bit of a range being put in on... Oh, my fucking God. You know, I'm almost done with this damn stream. Seriously, guys. I apologize. I'm going to go over oil. I want to go over gold. I almost took a trade on gold. I almost took a trade on AMD, but I didn't. Blah, 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 blah. All right. So far, this is acting as resistance, but I feel like it wants to pull up. I don't know what is going on tonight. Wow. Nothing wants to work. That's so funny. Let's see here. So, if Tesla does hang on to this, I mean, it's kind of made it, you know, resistance. If you were to put, you know, a pennant here from the lows to come on over, right? It would just slice right through that area like that. I feel like if the markets are going to go further to the downside, that you're going to see it want to go fill that gap. I don't know. I got to see where we open up tomorrow. I don't like the charts, guys. I don't see any setups. I'm going to be honest. I don't see any like clear setups. Other than the fact that if Tesla remains under here, then yes, I'll look to be weak. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla also, with the market, puts in a lower high, right? Puts in a lower high. What is this? This isn't a trade, right? I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I have to do the percentage, but like 245 to 250. Okay, that's a $6. That's not too bad, I guess. That's not too bad, depending on the in the manner that it gets there, right? We do have some volume to the buy side that's wanting to poke its head in. So tomorrow morning we do trade live Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. I will be on early tomorrow. And then we'll see where we're at and take it from there. And I'm going to really do my research also throughout the night. And if you guys have anything to look at, we'll see what kind of news that we wake up to. Not that I'm saying we will, or, you know, chances are we've got to wait for PPI. Maybe that'll give us the momentum that we need. You know, and until we break up out of one of these ranges, you know, long at 240, 246. And then you want to look to be selling that thing at 251.25, 251 area. Okay. If I were to look at this and then look at the SPY, Tesla's still making new lows. So it is pretty weak. It is pretty weak. Let's see here. If this... So yeah, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on that. Did we already talk about AMD? I'm not sure. I think we did. But if we didn't... AMD is another one that, you know, if we cannot get back up above 110.50, I'm going to look to be short, right? There's not much volume there, okay? There's not much volume. Amazon, some of these names were a little bit, you know, they had more relative strength than others. That's why I'm bringing them up, If you look at the sectors that were, that led today, some of the sectors that were green, semiconductors were red. This in fact was green. I think we're breaking above 138.75. If we do and hold that, then I'm going to look for the top side of the range up at 140. Right, that'll be a whole trade right there. If we're long, I will hold this thing. I will hold it through 139.50. I will take half off, something like that, depending on the manner that we get there and what goes on. Then I'll look to, try and get up here. We do have a gap up here. It could be a while before we fill it, or we could fill it sometime soon. I have not looked at Google lately. Google's another one that's not doing too bad right now. Again, it's like Microsoft and Apple switch seats with Amazon and Google, right? The two strongest one versus the two weakest of the big names have now swapped. So 50-day is down here. It's just holding up. Google's holding up. It did put in support back down at that previous pivot. And now it's making that prior resistance into support. It's like, boom. It looks like it's making lower highs. So let's pull up a 15-minute chart. Maybe this will be something we'll look at. I just need to find a setup, guys. If you guys have anything that you're looking at that you think might be a good setup, let me know. Because I don't really have too many right now. This is all just sideways. Buy here, sell there until something changes. This could be the lower high that it puts in. So I could look to be short Google to, maybe put in. See, it's already put in. There's a gap down here to fill that gap, right? Maybe we go to fill that gap. All right, we go down, fill that gap, or we go down to put in a lower high or something. All right, that's how I'm looking at it. But again, you have some names that feel like they want to go. It all depends on what PPI is. This is why it's tough, because we could get a surprise tomorrow. We could get a surprise. I need to go look at some of these names like Roblox. I got to really do some digging. I didn't sleep at all last night. My cat had me up. If we do break down through here, you could look for this area to be resistance, 129.50 to be that was support. See if we break it, turn it into resistance. Right. Let me see. So that's all, guys. Just went over the bigger names. It looks like it's trying to hold up here in this area. That previous resistance. It's just the middle of the range. You're a seller up here. You're a buyer down here until something else changes. It's at least somewhat in an uptrend other than the other ones. Don't blame Turkey. That's so funny. I love it. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I love it. That's so funny. Think of a name. Give me a name, Turkey Butt. Give me a name. Just anything. Like, we could bring up Starbucks. Right? Starbucks. Let's bring up Starbucks. Starbucks actually had a nice green day today. Well, they had a dividend. There you go. That's why. Could look at Target. Starbucks. So, Starbucks isn't doing too much right now. Let's see. It's so funny. It's a fucking turkey. That's hilarious. That's so funny. So Target has just gotten kicked in the teeth. Looks like that's such a garbage looking chart. Target had a good thing going for him, I feel like, and it's just not doing any good. Let's see here. So, that's right, guys. Let's look. Everybody's starting to talk about natural gas. It's probably time to sell it. There is a reverse head and shoulders here. You just touched the shoulder, so let's keep that in mind. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. I don't know. So maybe we'll look for UNG. Now, I didn't know this, but I do know this. I feel like UNG is you have to watch when the contracts change on these. You got to know what you're doing with when it comes to some of these, right? When the gasoline futures change, you're going to see, at least from what I've known, you could see like a gap down. You may get a gap down. Of course I would, right? um, this is a nice setup, guys. Right? What do we have here? This is a nice setup. Left shoulder. Right? It's kind of ugly, but it's there. Head. Right shoulder. Right? There's your neckline. Break out. Pull back. See if it holds. We'll look for that tomorrow. I was wanting to see if gold was doing the same thing. At least GLD. Now let me dig into this real quick because this might be on watch tomorrow. Right? I've already had these lines. I've already had these levels up, and I don't even fucking look at UNG. So it's sold off like a bat out of hell. Maybe let's see tomorrow if it tries to shake people out to continue to the upside. I don't know if there was any type of news that USA natural gas storage 29 billion versus 25 billion. So yes, they are. I did remember that because there was the gasoline. There was more inventory than reported. I'm going to keep that on watch tomorrow, natural gas. So GLD, I almost played the reversal. This is what I was giving it. Now we can see literally from where I gave GLD, it started to sell off, right? The circle. That circle is where I said if gold cannot, like, you know, it can circle it a little bit. I'll give it a little bit of room. But where did it sell off from? It sold off from right here, just below my target. This was it. This was all the beginning of the week, right? I thought this was our comeback. I said, hey, it's going to regain it. This was a shakeout because what do we have here? You have a really nice chart if it can pull through. Doesn't look like it's going to though. So what you did have was your left shoulder, right? Your left shoulder. Your head, and then you started to form nothing there. Then you started to form your right shoulder like it wanted to hold. Right? Like it wanted to hold. It was coming down to come back around, and we were looking for it, but it didn't do it. It failed to hold up. Right? Failed to hold up. Just as everybody was, talking about it. Let's see here. So gold's just coming down. You want to just keep an eye on your weekly moving averages and your daily. It's on the top side of the thing. We do have a gap. I post, if you don't know, you can find me on Twitter, Ivy League Trading, twitter.com. I posted this a couple days ago. I posted this gap fill right here. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm so sick of these charts. I really am. I need to find out how to just not have to go down here and click and everything. I got to go look that up. There's your gap fill. It would actually be right there. That would be your gap fill if you go down to fill the gap, right? That's 173 at 177. You could swing this, wait for a bounce back, right? See if you get a bounce back to like the 9 EMA, which would bring the 50-day moving average down. I would look for 179.45, 179.50, right? I would be short right there, and I will be. All right, I'm going to set a reminder right there, because what's going to happen, guys? That 50-day is going to be moved down. If you were to get a bounce up like a day or two into next week, you pull that 50-day moving average down. They both meet, right? They both meet, and then you have yourself a nice trade, all right? Maybe it chops around, pulls back. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm done, guys. I'm done after this. I'm done. I can't take it. I really can't. Right? They bounce back. Bang. Right there. They meet. Downside. Right? Or you get like some nice downside where it just goes straight down forever to zero and you're short. So you just collected $2,000 on every little bit that you shorted. It goes to zero. Gold is no more. Right? I'm just kidding. Just aggravated. Guys, I don't have really many chart patterns. I mean, people can try and force things. It's just right now there were so many good setups. right? There were so many good subs. So if you're new, right, I started this probably about 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, right? Let's just go look at the few that we were on, right? That it takes time for things to set up. Ford, we called it here on this double bottom, measured the move, and literally went to the move. Now it's back down, right? That was just one of them. Hell, I can't even remember. We called Baba way back down here at the double bottom right here. We called that move. Bang. There was just a lot. Crypto, we called that. There was a lot, man. Right now, I've been thinking about energy, right? I'm just not getting the move that I expected. Maybe it's the name I was looking at, right? Or it's going to give us that second. So it did reclaim it. Let's see if we can get energy back up, right? Everybody's going to talk about natural gas. Let natural gas pull in, and we'll see if we can get a second leg higher here on Chevron. It's back up to that level now, right? We're starting to get volume. So Chevron was green today while the market was red. Now, if you get a real decent bear market, you're going to get everything's going to go down. It don't matter what it is. Everything's going to get taken down with the markets. So let me see here actually, because it looks like we're putting in a nice pattern here. This is all it takes, guys, is running through, maybe getting aggravated or something, and finding something. So we know we have TLT. The bond market has been really volatile, right? So if I say we get, something like this. See, I don't even like that either, right? And then if we have coming in next week, maybe we get, I don't know. Guys, everything's set up perfect. Maybe I got to look at some Dow names, right? Because Dow is still hanging out up at the top side. I'll end off with this: that if you want to be long and you want to be short, just make sure you're short or just look to be short weak names, and long the stronger ones. Okay. So right now this is the middle range. I mean, at least maybe I can get CBX up to 163. That wouldn't be a bad trade. There's probably going to be a gap up though tomorrow since this held. That's the middle of the range. There's a trade right there from here to here. You could at least look to put in, a lower high right there to 162.88ish in that area. I don't have much here, guys. Exxon. What is Exxon's? Exxon. XOM, that's right. So yeah, I don't even know about it either. Look, silver's just toast. Might be able to get a bounce there. Right? It looks like silver's trying to have a decent day. We could look at AG. There's probably no liquidity there. I don't know, guys. So I just got to keep searching. Right? I got to run through the indexes and whatnot. Look at ARK. ARK has just been selling off like crazy, guys. I don't know if anybody's noticed that, but ARK is selling off like a bat out of hell. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Once again, I will end it with an apology because the stream was not up to the par and standards that I would like it to be. I'm going to do my work and see where we can find value, where we can find opportunity. Okay, real quick, we do have Alibaba. I will look to see if Baba can get back up. And, it didn't hold the gap fill, right? It couldn't hold the gap fill. It broke down. So we'll see tomorrow if we can get Baba into resistance. And depending on the volume, depending on the, because everything was down with the market pulling everything down. Maybe we look to get short at 99.75 to 100 in that area. Right? If you can't break back up above that gap fill, let's get short. I'm going to be thinking about getting short at the 100-day or not the 100-day, but the gap fill at the $100 level. All right, on BABA. You know, I don't really have much other than that. So other than that, like, you know, we have down names. I could look up a bunch of down names like Boeing and stuff. So that's about all I have, right? That's about it. Boeing down day. There's just no setups anywhere, guys. Unfortunately, just gotta wait. You know, gotta wait. You know, maybe I'll just look at tech and be short tech. You know, stick with what's working. So look at technology. It's starting to just take back everything that it gave up, right? So maybe we do start to look to turn everything around. Maybe we want to be short the Qs. All right, so Roblox did get a bounce. So again, I'm gonna do my homework, and I'm gonna go out and just check everything. I'm gonna get up bright and early in the morning. Okay, TSM, BBVA. I'm going to get up early and I'm going to check and look for different things. Oh, like CRM. I haven't looked at that in a while. It's really weak. Wow. It's at the bottom of its range. That doesn't surprise me. So everything has just pretty much pulled back. I wonder if everyone starts to get overly bearish and if we can look to have longs. That's the other part of this equation we want to be at. If the market does plan on going higher, if for some reason people are just too negative for no reason, like if we don't have a reason to go down, we're probably going to go up. You know, we have PPI. We'll wait for that to come out. So, why was the trade desk down 4.5%? Are you kidding me? What? Wow. I didn't think their earnings were that bad. They beat. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't have enough. Maybe they didn't think they would have, you know, maybe they lowered guidance. Guys, also RIG. Remember, I bring that stock up I've been bringing it up forever. It had news today, I guess, with Josh Brown on CNBC brought it up, and that thing had a nice rally. A rally for people to take profits. I want to find the next sector to, you know, get us going in one. Let's look at like U.S. Steel. Oh man, it's getting clobbered. I knew it. I'm so glad I did not fool with this. There was something about it. It just didn't look right to me. Look at Steel, man. Steel had an awful day. Was there news? Islamic side North America says huge explosion at a steel complex in Iran. Several people injured. I did not hear about that. United States Steel collaborates with Google Cloud to develop productive application for employees. Wait, what? Why would U.S. Steel collaborate with Google Cloud? U.S. Steel aims to improve operational efficiency. All right, so Islamic Society of North America says huge explosion at a steel complex in Iran. Several people injured. That's a shame. That's a shame. I think we got to look for the pullback. All right, we got to look for the pullback at around 23. See if we can get a pullback around 23 and see if we can get short this thing. This thing was seriously red, guys. Look at that. I missed it. Look at that. That's bad. Like, that's red. The SPY wasn't red. All right. So we got that. CLF. This is probably because it's been dead money. Look at Cleveland Cliffs. As soon as they were able to get some buyers in there, they sold it. All right? They sold it. So I'm looking at technology. I just, what am I missing? Is there something I'm missing? And I hope you guys have a good night. You guys have a great night. I'm going to get off of here in a couple, just like a minute. Trying to think of something. Oh, banks. Banks. All right. So what do we have here? It looked like we had a Head and Shoulders. Right. It looked like we had a Head and Shoulders forming. I want to see, maybe I'll be short like XLF or something. All right, you can look at XLF like it looked looked to me like we were putting in a Head and Shoulders here. It's kind of ugly. Left shoulder, head, maybe right shoulder, right? Maybe this goes here, right? Maybe it goes there. I don't know yet. I'm not sure. So let's see, maybe we get a pullback. Or if this thing holds, we got to look for the long. All right, so maybe that's a setup. Maybe that could be a setup for us. It was red today. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So there's an idea, KRE, right? And we'll look at XLF. XLF. It doesn't look that good either. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. What is that? Oh my God. I gotta stop doing that. I gotta stop duplicating images too. Alright. So I'm gonna bring up Goldman Sachs real quick. I'm trying to just bring up stuff that like maybe I'm not thinking of. And alright, so Goldman Sachs. So it got to our area. Alright, I obviously have this there for a reason. That reason, I have no idea. I have no idea why I have that there. Hold on, what is going on here? What in the hell is this dude doing? Yeah, so that was a failed breakout unless they're just doing that, right? That's a possibility. I mean, kinda. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not even going to do that unless I see something else. That looks a little bit better, but... Alright, so see if we can get a bounce in Goldman Sachs. It's at support. Right? That was a lower volume pullback. So, alright guys, that's the last one. You guys have a great night. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I apologize for the stream. You know, there's just not much set up. If you guys have something, let me know. So for now, I will just, I'll look to just, catch whatever movement I can get. Sometimes it's like that. You've had a lot of setups, right? You've had a lot of things set up that, there was a lot of great opportunity, especially the first half of the year. Do we have a possible... Oh, I thought that was a daily. That doesn't look like too bad of a chart there, all right? HD, Home Depot, it's a down name. Resistance turning into support. So I got the outside cat yelling at me. She says, wrap it up, dude. I got to get fed. You got to feed me, bro. Tell you what. So like I said, I'm coming. You guys have a great night. Thank you guys. If you haven't done so already, subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers like the stream. I apologize for the not so much value. Okay. Just, put your armor on, I guess you could say. Buckle yourself up, because once this, like I said, with this volatility, you're going to have big up moves. We're going to have big down moves. And as you can see, that thesis has been correct. All right, that thesis has been correct. All right, we've called a lot of these moves already. When you have stuff like this, go into the past and see what happened. Right, you have a housing crisis, go back to '08. You have something wrong with technology and valuations or our earnings recession, go see when the last time there was an earnings recession and go see what happened or something. Right? Last time there was an interest rate hike cycle and something happened, go back to see the volatility. Right? Usually those same themes will repeat themselves. So here they are, the SPY. The S&Ps are turning themselves around. Right? They're turning themselves around right now, guys. What did we say? I said look for that area to become resistance. All right, it's resistance now. These two turquoise lines are Friday's close and Friday's low. All right, Friday's close and Friday's low. I just still have them up from last week. And as you can see, we've just been hitting it and bouncing off. Now we've actually made the close on Friday of last week. Looks like we're turning it into resistance. All right, so just keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, along with that, the SPY did not close red today. It did close green, barely. We'll see what tomorrow brings, guys. Join us tomorrow, 7:30 to 4. I'll be on a lot earlier. You guys have a great night. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't done so, it would mean a lot to like, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, even after a stream like tonight, God bless you. All right. Thank you, guys. You guys have a great night. We will look to capitalize whatever the market gives us tomorrow. Come join us right here, IvyLeeTradingYouTube.com. We'll see you.